Hello and welcome. Here we are back with Dynamic Disruptors. Hello, Caroline.
Hello, Lauren. Welcome back.
Here we are again, and I'm really excited about today. Which actually, you know what, might even bring up what's just been going on, even just this morning in my life, to be very relevant about this conversation. So today's topic is going to be the power of the identity shift. So time collapsing for effortless success. Um, and that comes with actually effortless as in, part of it will be effortless, but the identity shift to time collapse is extremely powerful. It's something that, if you are a visionary, a CEO, you've probably done a million times in a way, but to do this in a strategically very powerful, intentional way is literally the key to hyperspeed. And I'm going to say this right now, it's not going to feel 100% comfortable, but once you embody the thing, we're going to talk about this, that's when there's time collapse. So I just want to start with, we know that strategy works, right, to a degree. But what we need to address is who we are, how we move, what we believe, what we think is even possible. All these things and more create the identity, right, in which we're moving. So choosing now intentionally to shift that in a way to see where you might not be acting in integrity with the fullest vision. That's what we're going to look at today. So, Caroline, I'm just curious, what are some of your thoughts on the identity, who we are and how we're moving, and the importance of that when we want to achieve pretty legendary stuff?
So it's a very in-depth topic, I would say, identity shift. And I would suggest that those who are listening to us right now get some comments in the below so we can follow up on their identity shift as well. I think it's very important to have the feedback from the audience. And I think that identity shift is transforming who you are at your very core, so you can align with the expansion and the success you're ultimately seeking. So it's a very difficult way of work, but it's embracing, I believe, a new version of yourself. It needs to match your level of success and the one you need to achieve. So you were talking about work and easy or not easy, but I think it can be both. So it's it's shedding all habits, and it's quite hard. All thoughts,
Yeah.
all behaviors. It's evolving out of your old skin and let go of deeply ingrained patterns. This is super difficult, but
Yeah.
our brain is sometimes wired to old uh, way of thinking, and we hold on to the familiar. I think we've already touched this topic on another live, to familiar things. And it's, to me, the definition of that and what correlates with this holding on thing is resistance. It's a battle between the comfort of what you know and the discomfort of the unknown. And I've read recently that it's based actually on very old ancient survival patterns. So your brain is automatically wired to resist and to hold on to the familiar. So are we doomed to be wired like this? That's the idea.
Yeah, no, we're not doomed, which is great. And yeah, beautifully articulated. I definitely want to put in that. So like for an example, a lot of people will say, well, that's just not me, or when they're reaching a ceiling, or they want to achieve something, or even if they're just walking into the boardroom and they want a different result, they want to start having different conversations, they want to expand their success, whatever that looks like, whether it's financially or just how they carry themselves, right? Or how they are seen and recognized. And when we get to the work that is required, a lot of people, the resistance speaking will often sound like, well, that doesn't really feel like me. That's so not me, or that's not aligned. Like a lot of people, if you, been in the kind of spiritual personal transformation space, we talk a lot about alignment. And a lot of people will say that doesn't feel aligned, when actually, alignment is not always comfortable. And if we're seeking comfort, that is not going to actually push you to your leading edge, right? And when we're talking about the mind and the ego, it's great. It's very helpful. I'm not one of those people that believe that you need to shred your entire ego. It's there for a reason. But yeah, these primal, I love how you brought that up, Caroline, because these primal instincts that we have are for safety. And so every time we bump up against the leading edge, it's going to feel unsafe. It's going to feel completely insane. It might feel so out of the box that your nervous system, if you have not trained yourself in that capacity of the next level, that you're going to, you're going to feel some fear of some kind. And I was just in like an investors group the other day, and they were talking about, in essence, this something I love to talk about as well, is this like lion-hearted courage and your ability to hold the tension of risk, right? And sometimes when we are shifting, when we're creating new boundaries, when we are saying different things, when we're actually being vulnerable and letting new parts of ourselves out, or claiming new desires, that is so scary and can feel like an insane risk, right?
Yeah,
So, yeah.
definitely. I totally agree with you. I think it's very true. And you were talking about something a minute ago about expansion, and I think that's the key. So sometimes the idea of shifting identity, it's recognizing that the way we've achieved success is not the way we are reaching the next level. You can be a very successful entrepreneur, but have you reached your next level? That's the thing. So through your teaching, I think the concept of expansion will give you a sense of self. And this is where you have to shed off, all these old habits. And you need to trust the process of letting go what is no longer serving you, because it's ultimately it's limited beliefs, and that have been reinforced over time. So you need to go from old belief to adopting new habits that aligns with your new identity, and it's quite risky, as you said. So it implies self-reflection, new routines, sometimes to um, rethink the type of people that surround you, so you can accelerate this identity shift. You can reinvent
Yeah.
yourself. You can trust that the discomfort of change can ultimately be for the expansion you desire, the success you desire, the next level you want to reach. And this is the limit between success and this, I believe, new ways of redefining your life and your new identity.
Mm. Amen. Yes. Yes. And yeah, so many things came through as you were speaking around that, in terms of time collapse and expansion, right? Yeah, I always say, like, you can't get there from here. What has led you to this level of success and who you are being, was useful and powerful, and yes, needs to be honored. But those of us who are really constantly and consistently seeking that next level of expansion, it is now a requirement to explore an entirely new frontier. So who you were before, like I said, the boundaries, the energetic frequency in which you're working in, who you're letting into your space, what you're allowing to leak your energy and leak your power, even just down to like the lexicon you're using, how you're carrying your body. All of these things are our identity. And when you flip, then it's not about, okay, when I get there, I will be. It's you be it now. And that actually pulls the future towards you, instead of, you're always like this. You're like, when I'm over here, I'll be able to, and then you're traveling like this. This is now you are pulling the future to you now, and that is the time collapse. So you're making decisions. And I know a lot of visionary entrepreneurs have already done this. Like for instance, hiring the people before you need it, or planning 10 years ahead and investing in the thing now, right? And doing the thing now, instead of saying, when I have X, I will, or when I have this investment, I'll be able to do XYZ, right? So it's really being the thing, and it's a level of embodiment that I teach my clients in this way, because this is literally the source of time collapse. When you shift identities, you're making completely different decisions and a completely different frequency. And bonus, it attracts opportunities, people, partnerships, magnetically. It becomes a magnet to those high level experiences and opportunities that you want once you step into the identity that that aligns with that frequency. So really,
Yeah,
really
I
powerful.
yeah, I think it's very powerful what you're saying, and it's unlocking a very important thing. Is yeah, we can really turn what our old thinking into something totally new. We all carry a false sense of perception of who we are, and it's normal. It's all rooted in our stories we tell ourselves, our past experience, our cultural conditioning, our societal expectations, everything. Put all of this, put us in a box where we feel familiar with. It's
Yeah.
what we've been living with for a very, very long time. What your parents said to you, what your teacher said to you, what the society is telling you. It's really shaping us, and it shapes our experiences, our patterns, and it's filled with biases and lots of distortions and past failures and probably hurts and all these things that pile up and shape up an identity that we believe in. And that's the thing that was sometimes a little bit difficult to break, is the shell of, this is who I am. I cannot
Yeah.
go beyond that. And it's a mental framework, and it's really, really difficult to sometimes break the mold and say, no, you can shift. And I'm going to tell you one thing, because I heard a very interesting podcast last time that can be related to our live today, is that to shift to a new identity takes work. And the podcast was about neuroplasticity, and
Mm-hmm.
which is the brain's ability to rewire itself. And I thought that was very interesting. We were talking about these primal ways of patterns we try to hold on to. But if we work on these new experiences, these new ways of thinking, we can totally create new neural pathways through the work, through a conscious effort, through a will to reshape yourself. And it's, how fantastic is that?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
suddenly realize that your identity is not fixed. It's flexible, can be reshaped. It can be creating new ideas, new habit, new perspective. It gives you and entrepreneurs unlimited potentials. It's just a new way. May I give you an example of uh, two things as well that really struck
Yeah.
my mind
Yeah.
on that. The two thing is just, the eye, when he sees the environment, he sees it in upside down. It's only
Mm-hmm.
the brain that turns the image the other way around. So are we really seeing what we perceive of ourselves the way we really perceive ourselves? And that was a big question mark for me. And the second
Yeah.
example, sorry, I got plenty today.
I love it. I
was
love it.
that was a different thing. I make sometimes the correlation between space, outer space, and inner space. To me, I think that's totally similar. And
Mm-hmm.
there was something, we were talking about the Hubble telescope and the James Webb telescope. And the Hubble telescope, we've been looking at the universe for so many years, and we have big patches of black. Oh, okay, there's nothing, it's black something. And then we send the James Webb telescope that can switch what it is looking at into infrared. So he sees, when you go deep in space, uh, the line becomes red, so you can't see it with the naked eye, but James Webb can see it. And then suddenly when you switch, you see in those black patches a multitude of universe and galaxies, and it reshaped
Yeah.
our way of thinking of the universe and say, do we have that wrong? We even rethink the Big Bang Theory. So
Mm-hmm.
to put
Yep.
that in an inner perspective is really to take the glasses off and put another type of specs to see ourselves in a new light, because we are capable of doing that through the neuroplasticity, through the work with you, through all these different things, to become a new version of ourselves. And I think it can be very, very interesting to explore all this. I'm sorry, I'm taking
No, I love it.
the
Yes.
whole conversation, but I think
Yes.
the topic is worth, really worth exploring.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then bringing that other layer of, we're talking about neuroplasticity, and then the energetic, which is like your actual like energetic blueprint DNA, and moving on those and being able to expand these different parts of yourself. That I love that, the inner and outer. I'm always talking about micro, macro. Um, because there is that beautiful reflection that yes, there is the inner cosmos, and there's so much unknown that we cannot assume that this is only this way, linear. This level of expansion, I think that now people are seeking as visionary entrepreneurs, founders, CEOs, to tap into that inner universe. And of course, yeah, we get to, through activating a new identity, we get to write our own story, and we continue to write it. And it is like, and it's a never ending novel. It's a never ending story, but it gets to shift and it gets to change, and that can actually happen extremely quickly. So um yeah, there's
Yeah,
there's so much to this. I
there's
know
so much
we
to
well
say. Yeah, definitely. I would probably step into something that is related to my own experience. So I lived in Nepal for many years, so I've been in contact with Buddhism and all these teachings for a very long time, and um, I think there's an immense power in stepping away from the noise and the distraction of everyday life, and to make this identity shift happen, you need to get away from those distractions. When you
yep.
have a Buddhist monk who wants to really get an inner shift, what does he do? He goes in a retreat in the forest, he hides in a cave, he goes somewhere where he can find a space for transformation. This moment of silence,
Mm-hmm.
this stillness, this solitude. And I'm going to relate that. It's obviously, we don't ask people to go in a cave. You can't ask your clients to go in a cave for
Unless
three
they
months.
want to, we can arrange that too.
But the
Yeah,
meaning of our conversation today is to say, why are we together? Because you have a
yeah.
teaching to spread. You have something to say.
Lunch Club.
And at the same time, I say, I have the cave, the space with our villas,
Yeah,
to get the clients out of his, to
yeah.
remove themselves from their material world. I'm sorry, I'm putting all the thing together, but I think it's very important.
Yeah,
Our
no,
villas
it's wildly
propose
connected.
to
Yeah.
teaching.
Mhm.
It's not vacation. It's not weekend getaway. It's not fun thing. It's work. It's an intentional pose that you're making, and you do that because you want to get in connection with your higher consciousness. You want to create the space for this new version of yourself, and ultimately create this enlightenment that the Buddhists are talking about, or all the teachings are talking about. You cannot, to my own understanding, achieve the identity shift, get all the teachings you make with all the noise around, and with the emails, with the meetings, with the constant distraction. You need to change your outer landscape and recreate your inner landscape, and only the villas can help you to do that. If you have someone who says, okay, I'm ready to take 7 days, no emails, no meetings, no distraction, and I will be fully intentionally putting myself in withdrawal for a transformation, the first step is there. To me, there is already a discomfort to say, I'm going to change my environment, get away from the chaos, to intentionally work on myself and have a new version of myself that will emerge from these 7 days of being in that beautiful environment. You don't have to think about anything. But if you wake up in the morning, instead of scrolling your
Yeah.
social media, you hear the birds, you
Mm-hmm.
hear nature, you have good food. You don't have to think about all the things that distract you, and you're only focused into what you have to do for your inner self and your inner shift in an environment that is conducive to that. I think it's a win-win. It's a win-win situation. But even getting
Absolutely.
into
Absolutely.
a luxury villa takes, I'm sorry I'm getting there, but takes effort. It's
Mm-hmm.
just not, oh, that's great, we're going to be there. It's just, I'm working with Lauren, but I take the risk of getting somewhere I don't know, with people I don't
Mm,
know, just to get the
yeah.
silence.
Yeah. And
I like this
asking, I
subject.
love that. This is it where if you want this process to move faster, right? Of course, this is what I do, and Caroline with the beautiful luxury villas and the opportunity to have everything taken care of for you, be in nature. But the idea of like extracting yourself from the environments that actually reinforce the identity, like your current identity, when you extract yourself from those spaces, that's when you hyperspeed, because now, like you were saying, you are able to then focus directly without outside influence, you can do it, of course, but it is so much harder to really activate that shift when your environment and all the things around you are continually reinforcing, plus you have your normal habits that you do within that environment. So this is kind of like that fast track to extracting you from that, and shifting your whole beingness, so that when you return, you are not only rejuvenated, nourished, most likely having a deeper connection with nature and yourself, but you're able to really implement that new identity, those new habits, those new boundaries, that new, like, not only to say new essence, but we're ripping away things that aren't actually really you and your highest self. So all that to say, if this is of interest, if this sounds activating for you in any way, you can go ahead and book a call for a luxury villa experience, and we can let you know what that entails. But basically, that is your choice of one of the villas that we have that we can discuss with you, and remote activations and mentorship for me during the time that you have. So we are, more than excited to talk to you about that and assist you in shifting into this new powerful identity, so that you can reach those visionary goals faster and more deeply connected and aligned to your purpose and your values in the world. Yeah.
Yes, it's a powerful way, I think, to accelerate your teaching.
Mm.
I think what you have to say, it's extremely powerful, and I see that even when we're not live and we're talking together, there's always something that I learn from you, and I think it's an important step to take that type of risk at some point. Not, you don't have to do that every week, but at some point when you are with someone who really want to take the risk to say, okay, I want to be serious with my identity and have the answers to the question, who am I? It is important
Mm.
to get the silence. You can get the silence in walking or going in the forests and taking a nice time for yourself. It's also a way, but I think this the 7 days and having your remote teaching is a big risk to take.
Mm.
It's something, it's in a comfortable environment, but the risk is there, and that's what I
Yeah.
like. Are you serious about it? If you're serious about
Yeah.
it, let's move
Hmm.
on in this.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Amazing. These are always so just so wonderful to sit here and be able to talk about all our favorite topics here and bring it to an experience for our clients. I absolutely love it. So we will continue. We're doing these dynamic disruptors every other week now. If you have questions, if you have, would love to hear in the comments any breakthroughs, any any questions about the topics that we're talking about. If you'd like us to go more in depth, please feel free to comment and reach out to either one of us. And I'll be posting some links below the replay here for all of you about what we've mentioned here today. So thanks again, Caroline. This was amazing.
Thanks, Lauren.
All right, guys. We'll talk soon.
See
Bye.
you. Bye bye.